So I just want to show you how to start your LX map. So whether you get whatever software that you're actually going to use, this is using Miro, but what you'll notice is I've got the learner personas on there. So I've added those. I've also got my learning outcomes there. That's really important because you always refer back to them, making sure that content, activities, interactions are fit for purpose. And also your SWOT analysis and your learner journey map, be aware of those because you incorporate that through your design and be asking yourself some questions there. The other thing that you'll notice here is I've got color coordinated post-it notes. Now, I like to color coordinate it so I know all key concepts will be, in this instance, green, all activities will be pink, light blue, and then another type of blue for extension. So I recommend doing that as well. It will just make your life a lot easier when you're actually mapping, so you can clearly see how many concepts you have, how many activities you have, what support resources are there, etc. So recommend that. And also down here, these are my prompters for activities. So the first one is connect. Now, in any online space, you definitely need to facilitate connection. That's from to the course itself, to the educator and to peers. So I definitely recommend having that. And then these other 6 ones: discuss, inquire, collaborate, acquire, practice, and produce, from Laurelard's learning types. And that will just prompt your thinking when you're actually doing activities and map and creating your LX map, which I'll show you more now.
So as you can see here, we've got green post-it notes, and what we're doing is just mapping out the key concepts. So what does the learner need to know in order to be able to achieve the learning outcomes? So just going through, having the learning outcomes there and mapping out all of the different key concepts that the learner might need to know. So it's important here just to keep on mapping them and going through. And as you're going through, you may group them as you go. You may do that towards the end. That's totally up to you. You may group the key concepts to theme, weeks, bigger overarching concepts, and then look at the learning outcomes and say, okay, which ones align, which ones are grouped together, which ones make sense, grouping them together. And then there might be ones that you've gone, you look at the learning outcomes and you go, hang on, it doesn't really fit. So you might not go, that doesn't fit or it doesn't align, so I'm going to highlight that red. So I might still car park it just in case it does need to go somewhere. I might go into support or extension and pop it there. Then I might just, at the time, when you're talking to your your subject matter expert, or if you're the educator, you might go, do you know what, this title fits here. So I've just popped in a couple of titles there that reflect what it is happening in those modules, I suppose. Next, we're looking at the activities. So we're looking at what does the learner need to do in order to demonstrate their understanding. Okay, what are they going to do to achieve the learning outcomes? So there's different activities here. I'm just mapping down some that fit in there and thinking, okay, what type of activities after all of the pre-work that we've done would fit in here. And things like quiz for identification, reflect, pair and share. So looking at them to respond to scenarios. Next, we're looking at support. What support might be required? And here, potential triggers. So looking at not just reading or software, but what other mentally things could help impact it. And extension. So where to next? I've got here Laurelard's learning types that I've used as a prompter. So first one is a different one. It's about connection. So where are the opportunities for the learner connect, especially in the online space? So where is it with peers, with educators? So here I'm just coming up with something, share my story, ask for contributions and verbal and non-verbal feedback, and just identify throughout where are the different levels of interaction there happening. It can be peer-to-peer, peer-to-educator, and vice versa. And then looking at the different activity types. So acquire, that's there, the key concepts. Then with inquire, is there something there? No, there wasn't. So then I'm going to pop in here case study and map that across the 3 different modules. So using the same case study, but building the complexity across the 3 modules. Then we have collaboration. Some of the activities I have already got collaboration in there, so I'm just mapping that just to make sure it is there. And then I'm saying, okay, produce. I don't have anything the learner has to produce yet, so I'm going to do that in response to the case studies there. So, and they're going to develop a plan. So that produces a prompter. We're just doing the same with discuss and then practice as well. And then map out, okay, where would the support resources go? What the support that I've identified, where is it specific that needs to be there? Okay, so we're just mapping that out just with some post-it notes, and that's all.
So here we have the Alex map. So you can see here there's a few key things that I want to point out. We have connect here. So look at how can you facilitate connection through the Alex design process and make sure that learners feel connected throughout the process. So I've got a few activities there, also highlighting the activities that are peer-to-peer that will build that sense of connection throughout the modules. We have inquiry here. So I'm leading through inquiry, and that's a case study being built over 3 modules. And then the key concepts. Now, this doesn't have to be the exact sequence. In the next level is you'll go through okay, which sequence makes more sense, but at least you've got it all together and you can go, okay, it's all aligned to the outcomes. It needs to be there. Students need to know that in order to achieve the outcomes. They need to be able to do this in order to achieve the outcomes, and I have the support and extension resources. The other things I want to highlight here is I've got potential triggers. Now, what that means is it's a support resource. So when you're building things online, if there's anything that might be confronting for learners or even the educator or anything that might trigger something, it's important that you embed support resources in there as well and make sure that's part of your design process, not just content and activities.